In the series of educational content, this is a follow-up video on the fixed range volume profile. Now, if you have not watched that video, then make sure that you stick around to the end, because I will link that video all the way in the end. You can just click on it and watch it in case you haven't. In this video, we are going to look at 4 different kinds of volume tools and indicators in Tradingview. I'm going to show you how to use them, read them, and the absolute do's and don'ts about those indicators. If you like the content, guys, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think it's useful. Without further ado, let's start diving in. We are looking here at the Bitcoin USDT chart of Binance. I could have made this video about really any coin, any stock, any commodity. Like I always say with all of the educational content, what I'm showing you is universal. You can use this on everything. Okay, with that being said, I first want to show you the quote-unquote regular volume. I think this is an absolutely must-have, must-use for every trader, no matter what you're trading. And that is kind of the volume that you see here at the bottom, these bars. And if I'm clicking on this drop-down menu, the only thing that I have selected is that volume. And I can also unselect it and select it again. You can see that's then appearing and disappearing here on my screen. How does it work? Well, if I'm standing on a bar, so let's say this thick green candle right here, then you can see a big number here. That is 89.5k. That means that in this daily candle right here on this pair, there were 89.5k amount of Bitcoin being traded. And if I then go one to the right, here it was shy of 46. The next day it was a bit more than 22k, etc, etc. Now there's one big warning that I need to give you, and that is that for crypto there are many pairs, many exchanges. So what you're seeing right here is not all the Bitcoin in the world. It is the Binance Tether on Binance. Sorry, the Bitcoin Tether on Binance. So if I would now go to a different exchange on the exact same time frame, you'll see a different number. So let's take this fat green candle that you see right here. That was the 3rd of February 2025. You can see there a number, or at least I hope it is visible for you, of 75k, a little bit more than 75k for the Bitcoin Tether on Binance. Now I'm going to a different chart. Let's see here. Then you can see the exact same day here on the BTC USDT spot Bybit is 67, so it's slightly less than Binance. This is very important because in some exchanges, yeah, like I said, this can be pretty different. Usually I always advise you just trade on one of the big exchanges because that has the largest volume and is the most accurate. So that would be then Binance, Bybit, or Coinbase. What does this volume exactly tell you? Well, it shows you a little bit of the direction of the market and if there are very aggressive buyers or sellers at a certain price level or at a certain period of time. For example, let's take this day right here. You can see this kind of big Darth Maul candle, and there you can see the price went all the way up and all the way down, but it kind of closed relatively where it opened, but it has a lot of volume in there compared to the other days. We'll look at this, is pretty okay, but then suddenly here you have a very big volume bar here on this day. However, if we then let's say compare this to this day right here, and there you can see that the volume was way less than that big candle that you saw here. However, the bears were able to push price much lower than that they were here. So here the bears and the bulls were really fighting, and eventually price closed relatively close to its open. But here the bears were in power and they were really able to push price much lower on a way lower volume that they needed this day. So that tells you something about, again, the buyers and the sellers, and yeah, how much volume there is in the market or participation to push price higher or lower. I would advise you to always have this at the bottom, because if you suddenly see a spike in price, and that also goes hand in hand with a big spike in volume, then you know that something important is going on. It could be a news event, could be maybe a long squeeze or a short squeeze, whatever, but it just tells you a little bit more info than just simply the candle that you see. Okay, with that being said, Then there is something called the fixed range volume profile. That is also the dedicated video that I made. I have it here as a favorite. If you want to look it up, any indicator, you can just press here and then you can just type what you're searching for. So in this case, the fixed range volume profile, right away pops up here at the beginning. And then you use a volume profile over the selected area that you want. So in this case, I just drop it here. Let's say this is the range, and it shows you the value area high, value area low, and the point of control, and then eventually also the overbought or oversold area. I'm not going into great detail. Again, if you want to know exactly how this works, how you can tune it, how to interpret this, please watch that video about the fixed range volume profile. It's about 14-15 minutes and I go into great detail how to exactly use it, and also here the do's and don'ts. But this is an important tool that I use a lot of times and works so well, especially on ranges like this, where you can see that the value area low and value area high is very well respected while you're trading it, and could cause for very nice bounces, and it can help you so much to give you an indication where are we in this range. Are we in the top? Are we at the bottom? Are we overvalued, undervalued? Are we bouncing off or not? Does it offer support and resistance? Super tool, and if I'm not mistaken, it's also completely for free. Then third, we have the visible range volume profile. So this is the fixed range profile, and then we have the visible range profile. Guess what? You can also just find it here. I have it as a favorite, and if you click on it, then most likely it will look like this. The fixed range volume profile at the beginning also looks like this, but I have not tweeted anything about this. So I'm going to do that right now. Double click, and there you can see that you can change all kinds of stuff. For now, I just want to see the value area high, value area low, and I'm going to change my row size to 200 so I can see more bars, and that's pretty much it for now. There you can see it changes. So how is this volume profile that you see on the right so much different than the one from the left? What it shows you here are just the candles in your screen. That is literally what it is, the candles in your screen, where the one with the blue and the yellow shows you the volume profile of the area that you have selected. This here with the blue and pink, it shows you whatever is in your screen. In other words, if I'm going to zoom in and therefore there are less candles in my screen, watch how this volume profile is changing. So I'm doing this, takes probably a second. Yep, there it is. Or I'm going to zoom in on the 4 hours, maybe a little bit easier for the tool. So now you're only seeing this area right here. It probably needs a couple seconds to load. There you go. So you can see exactly in this area what of this area is now the value area high, low, and point of control. Now I'm going to zoom out so we have more candles here on top. See what happens to the profile. Boom, something's changing. So therefore also your value area high, low, and point of control is switching. Personally, I do not use this tool a whole lot because I have noticed that when I'm trading, a lot of times you're just quickly changing your screen a little bit. You have some more bars in there, you're changing time frames, and this is then constantly flipping as well and constantly showing you what is now the point of control of all the bars that are in your screen. So I do not find it that easy to use and not so friendly, but I can imagine that it can be handy. Let's say you're saying, okay, I'm playing this on the 5 minute, and this for me is an important dump right here, this red candle right here at the end. Whoops, I'm going to mark it quickly for you. So right here, and you say, okay, from there on I want to have everything in my screen because now I find price important and I want to see what happens to the point of control, very high and low. Then I can imagine it can be interesting. However, of course, new candles also printed, so then it maybe switches to a new value high, low, and point of control while you might not be in the range anymore. So therefore, like I said, I'm not using this a whole lot. It's not bad. It is just that once you start playing around on your screen and starting to flip time frames and constantly getting more or less bars, it just keeps on adjusting all the time. So not as nice to use, but I see a lot of traders using it, and especially because it is on the right, I can imagine that it can be handy. Then the last tool that I want to show you, that is the SVP, and that is actually the exact same as the fixed range volume profile. However, this is the session volume profile, so it shows you the volume profile of one session. So let's say I'm now going to the 15 minute, and there you can see all these volume profiles automatically being placed in. And what is it? It is literally the beginning and the end of a session. So we have a beginning, we have an end, and it just shows you for this trading day, this trading session right here, what was the very high, the very low, and the point of control. Now, when would you use this? If you are a day trader or a scalper and you want to see when price is bouncing off a previous day very high, very low, or point of control, because that could offer support and resistance. If you're not a scalper or a day trader, I would say do not use it. It is pretty much useless. But if you like to trade on these smaller time frames, then I think this can be very, very handy, and also tells you just a little bit about the profile of the day. So for example, if we're looking at this day right here, then you can see that price started off trading here at the bottom, but then actually the rest of the day it was higher. In other words, traders found the fair value of the day right here in this region, and this was seen as cheap or oversold, and therefore you see buyers stepping in and pushing price higher. Now that can change of course per day, but it just tells you something about what kind of volume profile do you have during the day. And sometimes it's also very balanced, sometimes it's also very ugly, like this one is a bit all over the place. You can see you have a lot of volume here on top, and then you have nothing again, and then you have a spike here, you have a spike here, and then you have something here. That happens. There is no right or wrong, it just is what it is. This one is a bit more balanced, as you can see. Also you see that the point of control is pretty much in the middle of the day right here. We have some volume here and most of the volume here at the bottom. But it is just a nice tool, and like I said, most of the traders use this to see, hey, previous day very high, very low, and point of control, could it offer support and resistance once I'm trading. And especially if you have a big trading range, so you have a big day where you have the high somewhere here and your low somewhere here, there's a good chance that you're trading the next couple of days within that high and that low of that big trading day. I think I have an example here for you. Let me see. This is a good example. So this was on a Monday. You have your low somewhere here, you have your high somewhere here, and then you can see that the days that follow we are trading within that Monday high and low, and that you can see those profiles are then just kind of being cramped up, and eventually you will get a breakout. But this could also be a very good indication of, hey, what was the high or the low. And matter of fact, you can also see here of the previous day very high. Look at this. This is your previous day very high, and that was also exactly resistance, and then we just drop down. So that could be a very nice tool. Again, really for day traders and for scalpers. If you are not scalping and day trading, just do not use it, but then you have an idea of what some of the traders are looking at. So we have a VRVP, we have an SVP, we have a fixed range volume profile, we have the regular volume at the bottom. What is now good, what is bad, what should you use? Well, I already told you about the daily profile. If you're not a scalper or a day trader, don't use it, just turn it off, don't even look at it. The one here on the right, it's not bad, it's just not my favorite. I don't like it when I'm constantly changing my screen, that this volume profile is changing. I get it, of course, with the idea behind it, but not such a fan. The one that I like the most is the fixed range volume profile. I determine the range, I determine what the period of time is that I want to see, the very high, low, and point of control, and from there I'm trading. And I also notice that once I am determining what is a range and what do I want to see, that usually offers the best support and resistance. And the one here at the bottom, you cannot compare this to the fixed range volume profile. The one that we see right here is just per candle, per bar that you see here, and it gives you the information, was there high volume, was there low volume, and of course the trading pair. Again, keep that in mind, that's super important. But I usually have it like this, so the volume here at the bottom and a fixed range volume profile to show me what are the highs and lows, very high, low, point of control. I hope that this is clear for you. If it is not, please let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And when you're down there anyways, also guys, do me a favor by liking, subscribing, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, and see you very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.